Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just need a second fixing my.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on After GMS. It is Wednesday, October 19th. I'm Tracy McCain here with Christian Morgan, Megan Malaris. It is technically fall.
Yes.
Technically.
But it certainly feels like the first day of winter.
You know we don't play by the rules, right?
Nah,
No.
North Carolina.
No, never.
Any day is a guessing game.
Every day is a guessing game.
It is cold, frosty today.
Yeah.
Some people reported windshields frosted over.
Yeah, you know, a lot of folks scraping the windshield before they left for work this morning. A lot of people saying, well, we wore the car up before we get in it and go wherever we're headed this morning. So you look out live across the Piedmont right now. Sunshine, hardly any clouds in the sky, maybe a few here or there, but it's just a beautiful cold morning of weather. Take a look at where we bottomed out this morning. 32 officially at the freezing mark this morning in Greensboro, down to 32 in Winston-Salem. Started out at 30 in Burlington, 30 in Asheboro, all the way down to 27 in Albemarle, upper 20 down in Troy this morning. And actually the foothills, the mountains stayed a little bit warmer than we did here in the Piedmont. You had a little bit of extra cloud cover and a bit of wind overnight to help keep those folks a little bit warmer. So with us down to 32 in Greensboro, out at PTI, it officially makes it our first freeze of the season so far, which is actually about a week and a half early for us. If you look at our north and west counties, you go to Surrey County, Stokes County, the Wilkesboros, their first day of freezing, typically around October 15th to the 21st. So pretty much on time for them. A little bit later or a little bit early for us here in the Piedmont Triad. We still have that cold northwest wind from an area of low pressure to our north, which keeps us cold, keeps us dry. Dew points just it's like chapstick air. Dew points in the 20s and 30s. High pressure, though, keeping the sunshine around. It will do so for the next few days, but as it moves to the south and then eventually starts to shift to the east a bit, we start to change our wind direction. So instead of a northwest wind, we'll have a bit of a southwest wind as we head into the weekend. So that will start to warm us up gradually, slowly, but it does happen as we get into the weekend. So this morning, big coats, gloves, heat on this morning as we start out around freezing. Of course, still sitting there, but warming up into the 50s this afternoon. With full sunshine, it's still a chilly and breezy day of weather with some gusts on the order of about 20 miles per hour. Now, we do have freeze watches in effect for tonight, so I'll just go ahead and say tonight's another night you're going to want to protect those plants. Spend limited time with the pets outdoors, not only tonight, but also tomorrow morning as well. And the reason for this freeze watch instead of a freeze warning for our entire area is that basically there are just some folks who didn't quite get down to the freezing mark in the south and into the east. So for that reason, we do have another freeze watch in effect for tomorrow morning. It runs tonight through tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. It's going to be a cold night, but perfect night for football up on the mountain. Appalachian State welcoming Georgia State Panthers at Kidd Brewer Stadium, 7:30 for the kickoff. Temperatures will be in the 30s with a bit of a breeze for that game. And there you go. It's a stair step up. It's gradual. It's slow, but I promise it does happen as we warm things up. Cold again, back around freezing tomorrow morning. We're up near 60 tomorrow afternoon, mid 60s for Friday morning, and we'll try to reach up and touch that 70-degree mark again by Saturday and Sunday.
All right, so these cold temperatures have us asking, is your heat on yet? If you held out, did you finally cave and turn it on last night? Let's pose the question to you here live on our feed, give you a chance to respond, and we'll start the conversation at the table. Mine's been on a few weeks. I tried to inch it up a degree last night. My husband inched it back down 2 degrees. And so we're trying to find that compromise this time of year.
It's so funny because earlier today I said I'm marking this day on the calendar as the day that we didn't argue about turning the heat on, because even he agreed, you know what, it's cold. The question, the barometer, if we can pose it this way, Christian Morgan, I think is your level of comfort. Are you using the heat yet or not?
I said it was a little bit chilly. I never said it was cold. I said it's chilly.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah,
You did
But
not use that
I
word.
did turn the heat on very briefly when I got in the truck this morning, but I turned it off a few minutes later because it got hot.
So your truck is one thing. Is it on
Right.
in your house?
No.
It is.
He's
or
like,
it isn't?
No.
You had to
It's
think
not.
about it
Okay.
there. Well, Jason said that he guaranteed that you were already still using the fan. He's
Oh
like,
yeah,
still
the
using
fan.
that
Yeah, the fan's still on. Got to keep the airflow.
I bet you
can't
Jason probably
sleep when
uses
it gets
too.
hot.
That is so funny.
So
My-
crazy.
I think my bedroom stays like 5 to 10 degrees colder than everywhere else in the house.
Right,
Or
so-
everywhere else I am, my bedroom is like 5 to 10 degrees colder.
In here right now, are you comfortable? Are you hot?
A little warm. But
See,
in this
I
suit.
knew that he would
Unbelievable.
say
In this
that.
suit.
Anytime I feel comfortable, I know everybody else is
Mm-hmm.
literally on fire.
No,
Because
I'm not even
I'm
comfortable
always
right now.
freezing.
I didn't even wear a
cold.
coat in the weather garden this morning.
I noticed that, but I didn't want to say anything.
Now, granted, if I stood out there long enough, I started to get chilly, but
Right. But like meanwhile, yesterday, meteorologist Monique Robinson was filling in for you, and she had on a long coat. She said that
she hates the cold.
Oh, she completely
Yeah.
hates it. But she's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this should be like
Get used to it.
right. She's like, nope, we'll never. So we've got a lot of people commenting here. I'm going to start from the bottom, roll up to the top. Bobby chimed in. He said, my heat, not your heart. I'm sure your heart has been on.
My heart's on.
Yes, your heat has been on and off over the last few weeks. Shanika said, my heat is on now for sure. Joanne said, of course my heat is on, but then she said she is old and cold at 92 years old. I think you are young and warm. Exactly. I was going to say hot, but you know, don't want to go, you know, too far one way and then the other. Trina said, yes, I refuse to be cold and uncomfortable, so her heat is on. Sonia said, the heat is on. That's a song.
It is a song.
Thank you. It's the 80s song. And I mentioned that I felt it when you said this is chapstick weather.
You did. I heard you all of the go.
Yes, because I know what it feels like to have like dry hands, dry mouth when you are just trying to be warm and it's so cold outside. Not fun.
I know. I like the cold, but I'm not ready for my hands to start cracking.
Yeah, mine are. It's gross.
Mine are already too. It is so dry. Definitely
Yeah.
lotion weather. We were talking yesterday about like best kinds of lotions and things because it's just the air is drier. I've noticed I have chronic dry eye problems. I've talked about that in the morning show. I noticed my eyes are extra irritated this time of year because the air is so dry.
Yeah, this is, not only the coldest air we've had so far, but the driest air, really. For the last several weeks when we got a nice cold front to come through, it dropped our dew points back to the 40s and 50s. But now we're seeing dew points in the 20s and 30s, and that really is just bone dry air.
Right. So a lot of people, at least LeVar, likes this weather, but then again, he spent a lot of time in Alaska. So
Oh, okay.
there might be a connection there.
Yeah, maybe just a
Yeah,
little
just
bit,
a little. Virginia said that she turned her heat on to get the chill out of the house in the morning. It's kind of weird, Christian, because I saw this comment, I think it was on your Twitter page, that you said, it's warm enough during the day, or at least the sun is bright and shiny enough where you kind of feel warm in the car.
Yeah.
But you step outside and it's like a shock to the system.
Yeah, last week, specifically on Friday, it's really cold in the morning, or when you're outside in the middle of the day. If you're in the sun, you're like, man, it's nice. Then you get in your car and you just burn, slam up.
Yeah, that was me yesterday. I was like, why do I have this coat on? I'm like,
It very much is the season where you have to dress for like two different, two different styles.
Right.
Dress warm in the morning and just dress to be comfortable in the afternoon.
right, and then bundle up at night.
And bundle up at night.
I heard from a couple people on my page about this. Tracy slept with the windows open, loving this cool weather.
Tracy who? Let's be
Tracy,
specific.
Tracy Bass Schumacher.
Okay.
Not this
Tracy
Tracy.
McCain.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Tracy Bass slept with her windows open. Joanne said even at Oak Island it is 39 and feels like 35.
Yeah, it's not even, I was looking at the big temperature map this morning. It's not just us. You know, I mean, we have 30s at the beach this morning. We have 20s out in the Midwest. You know, Omaha, Nebraska was at 27 this morning, so they were colder than we were. So it's not just us. There's a huge chunk of the country that is feeling winter this morning.
Yeah, it's snowing in parts of the Midwest.
Snowing
Indiana,
in Michigan, snowing, yeah,
Chicago,
Minnesota.
I think had some flakes.
There was flurrying in the mountains last night in North Carolina.
Wow. Well, glad that we are not experiencing any of that just yet. I did see a few people on my page say, oh, you know, an early first frost, that means an early snow, but that is two totally different things. But you know how people get. They get excited about cold, they get excited about snow.
I've already had the messages in my inbox about the persimmon seeds this year.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Okay, so now you have to
It's
go
happening.
over that.
It's happening. Oh, you want me to go over that?
Well, persimmons, if you open a persimmon, you see a spoon.
Yeah, the spoon is supposed to indicate a very cold and snowy or harsh winter.
Like a snow shovel.
Right.
And yeah.
Yes, and you're telling them to hold off.
Let's get through Halloween first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Taking the time.
Although in some places it does snow on Halloween.
It happened.
But hopefully not here.
Yes, well, this is certainly not the last we'll be talking about this, but we are excited about 70s returning for the
Oh my
weekend.
goodness.
Yeah.
Deborah said she turned her heat on 65 yesterday.
65?
To me, that's not even heat.
Did it even kick on?
Yeah, she said
Wow.
she turned it on 65.
It must have been cold in there.
Yeah, right? But
Right.
To
I
get it
usually
up to 65?
to get it up to 65. Wow, because I usually, like, if I'm turning the heat on, I'm turning it up to like 73 or 4.
Right.
Oh, that's a dream. I tried to turn mine on to 73. Trevor turned it down to 71 and then was blasting his nightstand fan. I'm like, what? How did like the coldest natured person and the hottest natured person end up marrying each other?
Yeah, seriously.
It's so funny.
You know what? It's time for separate houses.
I don't know about that, but
Okay, separate rooms.
maybe like one of those mattresses where you can specify like the
Yeah.
temperature.
Oh yeah, they do have those.
We'll try that.
Okay, stay together.
Yeah, we're good on that. But yes, it's just funny how everyone has different preferences. All right, let's get to some of the morning headlines, and then we'll get a final check of that forecast. Some developing news here in Winston-Salem. Officers say 61-year-old Benigo Miguel was walking to his car when someone shot and killed him. It was a drive-by shooting, investigators believe, on Peachtree Street, and he was caught in the crossfire. The shooting also injured 2 other people whom police say drove themselves to a nearby hospital. Investigators collected multiple shell casings at the scene and believe someone in a dark SUV shot them and kept driving. At this point, officers think the drive-by was targeted, but again, the person killed, not the intended target. We'll keep you updated.
We do have an update on a hazmat situation that happened earlier this week in Graham. EMS treated 7 people after a flash fire at the Indolor plant on East Elm Street. Now we know a chemical leak caused the fire. Plant employees put it out before firefighters got there. But now the Graham Fire Department is saying the chemicals were contained to the facility, which is good news, and that leak did not impact the surrounding community.
This year's Lexington Barbecue Festival is back and bigger than before. The city went without its mainstay event for 2 years because of COVID, and now it is happening this weekend. The city expects more than 200,000 people to come out. The Lexington Visitor Center anticipates it'll bring about $9 million. The festival is this Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m.
The Burlington Fire Department would love your help. They're collecting aluminum cans. They're going to recycle those and then use that money to benefit a children's burn unit. They go directly to that children's burn fund, and that fund supports burn centers who help child burn victims. It also opens the opportunity for children who have severe burns to attend camp. You can drop off your cans at 215 South Church Street in Burlington, right behind the fire department's headquarters.
Mark your calendar, please, for the first weekend in November. The rescheduled women's only 5K walk and run in Greensboro will be Sunday, November 6th, as an afternoon event. It was supposed to be a few weeks ago, but got postponed because of the remnants of Hurricane Ian, forcing Cone Health to choose another date to keep everyone safe. The event helps women get screened for breast cancer and provides mammograms to women who otherwise cannot afford them.
Well, since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, this really is a time when we stress the importance of early detection.
We're following up with a survivor who never stopped ringing the cancer bell. Now she's doing it for others through support.
WFMY News 2's Denise McMillan has her story.
Despite how important it is to get screened to fight breast cancer, the CDC says they saw a major decline during the pandemic. As a breast cancer survivor, Maria Hicks-Few is not only encouraging folks to get back in the groove of getting mammograms, she's partnering with Cone Health to pay for screenings for those who can't afford them.
And I actually am raising money and raising awareness along with them. But I am also, through my new nonprofit, which is the Shero collaboration, I am raising money and also working on awareness for especially women of color, but all women and men to know, get early detection.
Maria's cancer was so small, there was no way she'd be able to feel it in her chest. That's why she's such an advocate for early detection. If it had not been for her radiologist doing an in-depth screening on her in 2019, she would have never known she had breast cancer. But it was not an easy journey. She lost her hair and is still feeling the effects of chemo and radiation.
Very traumatic, because I was also caregiving for my terminally ill dad at the time. So it was a lot. October of 2019, I rang the bell. But I never stopped ringing the bell because now I'm ringing it for other people and making sure the awareness is there and making sure they have the support that they need.
And as an advocate, she's really making a difference. Last year, Maria was able to raise $2,000 for Cone Health's Mammography Scholarship Fund. She's also sponsoring Cone Health's Women's Only 5K and run happening next month. And her Butterfly Bucket Challenge is going on now through the end of the month as well. You can learn more about these efforts and support Maria's fundraising by clicking on this story on our website.
All right, another check on that forecast. Cold, big coats needed out the door this morning. We'll get it up into the mid-50s. That's about all we're able to do in the temperature department today. Sunshine and breezy, too, to make for a chilly afternoon of weather. Down around freezing overnight. Frost likely again tomorrow morning when you get up on Thursday. But we start the gradual warm-up. It's a slow go, but it does happen. Near 60 tomorrow afternoon. We're back down in the upper 30s by the time you wake up on Friday morning, but ending up in the mid-60s for the afternoon. We'll be back up around 70 with sunshine over the weekend.
Well, today is every Tennessee fan's, day. They're like super excited because they probably wear orange to support their team anyway. Yeah. But today we're all wearing orange to support a very different cause. It is Unity Day. It's a day to stand up against bullying and accept kindness and be more kind to other people in the community.
Yes, so wear orange, support the cause, and be nice to someone today.
Yeah, it's so cool because Sonia, who's on here, said that she is a middle school counselor and that their entire school is wearing orange today to promote Unity Day and to stand against bullying. She says that they do that every day, stand against bullying, but today is obviously an important one. They'll all be wearing orange. So send us pictures, Sonia, because we want to see it. Yeah. I don't know why I say Sonia. It could be Sonia, but I don't know where the accent is. Sonia. It's happening. So just send us pictures. You can call me Trossie.
Trossie.
All right. On that note, we will end it. Thank you so much for joining us for After GMS. We'll see you back here on our main channel at 9 o'clock.
Bye, Sonia.